And is part of my mind movie also counteracting that old story of my trauma? As in, this is the future Brian, who doesn't react the same way he used to. And
Exactly.
welcomes people in his life and doesn't shut them away so he won't get hurt again.
Right, and that, once you know, you can't not know. Right. Once you're conscious, you got a choice. You want to go unconscious again, you can, but if you're on the journey, and that's your mind movie, and people start off with their mind movies, they have the house, the car, the hairdo, the fingernails, whatever, the relationship, and then you see them changing their mind movie, and it's all about the mystical, it's all about wholeness, it's all about activating latent genes, it's all about activating their pineal gland, it's all about the mystical, it's all about the love for life, it's all about holism. You see that start to change because none of that is going to bring a person joy. When the novelty of it wears off, they're going to be interested in something else. But sooner or later, they're going to realize that none of that is going to be the reason for their happiness. Now, this is the moment where the person starts going, well, what does bring me joy? Well, I want to live life fully. I want to be with great people. I want to love. I want to learn. I want to keep expanding my awareness. I want to keep expanding my ability to create. So I think you see this kind of dramatic change. So our students, they do program themselves because they love their mind movies. They fall in love with them, and that's what I want them to do. And by the way, if the brain only sees in pattern recognition based on how the neurological networks freeze patterns to associate with objects and people and things in the outer world, if you don't have the pattern in your brain for your future, you won't even see it. You'll walk right past it because you don't have it in there. So your mind movie helps you to perceive that future. It's right there.
So you recognize it when it happens.
Exactly.
Yeah. So tomorrow I'm going to San Diego to really sit down with my parents and talk about this traumatic memory I had when I was 7. But I don't think I'm looking for an answer from them because there isn't an answer. I think the only answer is my projection of my new me and my new future, right?
Exactly. What you may want to understand is how they felt. That's more important than anything else. Like it hurt us to see you hurt. That's the most important thing. Once you understand their struggle, once you understood how hard it was, you'll understand your struggle. You were a 7-year-old boy that you thought it had something to do with you, or you thought there was something wrong, and it's because you're viewing it from a limited place. What's more important is what replaces any traumatic experience is a new experience. And when the new experience is really, really based in an elevated emotion, then you're going to look back at your past and you're going to gain the wisdom from the experience, and the memory without the emotional charge is called wisdom, and that's the name of the game. So you negotiated that before you took on a body. You looked for certain genes, you looked for certain parents, certain conditions. We negotiate certain points in our life. You negotiated that because that's the exact thing you're here to overcome.
So I need to have this conversation with them.
In a loving way. How was it for you?
Yeah.
Let me tell you how I was really lost. I thought it was me. And just have the conversation, not trying to fix it, but just really in a place of love, looking at your mom and just remembering she was a 20-something-year-old woman, and looking at your dad, realizing he was doing his best. And you know what? The most important thing is they brought you into this world, dude. And that's what you'd be thanking them for. Like, thank you for like a body. Thanks for 7 years. I got 7 years out of you guys, and thanks for making me. Like, thanks for, I'm here. Look at the lives you're affecting. That's enough. That's enough, because if you were married and had kids and you got divorced and your kids were young, imagine how difficult that is. I mean, that's a challenging thing for any kid. So then you're an adult now that can look at it from a greater level of consciousness, and you would want the wisdom from the experience. And when you have it, then you no longer say, I am this way because of that event. You say, boy, that was one of my greatest teachers. That was one of my greatest moments. And now you're no longer looking back to your past, you're looking forward to your future. And when people, look, we've had people in this work that have had traumatic pasts, brutal pasts. I mean brutal. And the only thing they ever wanted was to be happy. And now they're some of the most happiest people in the world. And the side effect of that, without any effort, is they're having the most profound mystical experiences every day. They're not trying to have the mystical experience. The soul is saying, hey, how can the soul go to the future? If you're living by some emotion of the past, you can't go because that's keeping you to the past. So the person, it's not about analyzing all that stuff. It's the analysis. We've studied this. We've seen when people analyze themselves and their life within some disturbing emotion, 100% of the time they make their brain worse. They're thinking in the past. Get beyond the emotion. Cross the river. Get on the other side. And you look at it from a greater level of consciousness, you have the understanding because you're no longer that person any longer. You see it from a greater level of mind. So then those people that have overcome those conditions, the soul says, hey, you were here for that. You overcame that turbulent past. You wanted this experience. Well, now that you're overcome it, look how many unknown and new experiences you could have. You're connected now, so let's just make you naturally mystical. Because that's what you wanted. That was the one obstacle you had to overcome. So the person then says, my father who beat me every day that was an alcoholic, I love him. He was just suffering, but man, I couldn't even be myself if I didn't have that experience. And then, the person heals from some rare genetic disorder, and I say to her at dinner the night before, why don't you get on the stage and, tell a story for the audience? And you know what she said to me? I don't even remember my story. That she doesn't want to go there any longer. I don't even remember it. It was just, she's got a great life. Her body's healed. She's got all these wonderful things going on. Why would she want to go there?
Right.
She's not going to go there. That would be arousing the circuitry of the past and working the body into a same emotional state. Well, you would be moving the wrong way. It was so brilliant. And this person had a turbulent past, and she always talked about it. And now here she is going, well, I don't even remember the story. Nerve cells that no longer fire together, no longer wire together.
So she's converted that trauma into wisdom, and now she's living in the present moment, having these wonderful mystical experiences because she's no longer back to the trauma all the time.
In a new body, in a new environment, and in a whole new time.
And anyone can do this.
I'm telling you that I am more mystified, I am more surprised lately than I can't believe what we're witnessing. I'm waking up in my dream. I'm humbled when I don't even know. Don't even ask me how it's happening. Every event we're just going, wow, let's sit down here and just think about what we're doing. It's amazing. It's super, super cool.